Oh my, oh my, oh my. I'm so overjoyed to offer you this practice. I am grateful to offer you this practice. And I'm humbled to offer you this practice. Come out onto your back. While you're on your back, take a awareness to your one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Can you take a breath out with the mouth wide open? That exhalation is a cleansing and clearing away of the past, and also to reconnect you to what you yourself might be overwhelmed by, overjoyed by, grateful for, humbled by in your life. This practice is very much physical, and it's also to reconnect you to the spiritual, the soul of you. You'll practice this one breath, one movement at a time, dedicating every breath, every movement to what's deeply good in your life that your heart loves, appreciates, is grateful for, is humbled by. We all know what it is to feel our tension in our mind, then we'll feel it in our body. We feel it in our body, we feel it in our mind. But can we shift gears through this practice of yoga and flow and smooth out the breath, releasing physical tension, to feel what you love and who you love in your life? Enjoy your practice, and thank you for being with me. On your next breath out, hug your knees into your chest, flex your feet. Rock side to side, massage out your back. Our spine is a huge joint, and through this practice we look to decompress the joint as well as strengthen the joint. We bring ease and relief and release to the back. Our whole mood shifts in mind. Rock out side to side. Don't be in a hurry. We'll build into flow. How's that? Now go ahead, roll all the way onto your right side. Press your forehead right down into the floor. Say silently, or under your breath perhaps, resetting to 0. Coming back to what's just good within and around me. And to seeing more clearly who and what is good for you. Resetting to 0. Bring yourself onto your hands and knees. And then from there, spin your body around so you're facing the front edge of your mat. Take a few cat and cow pose. On a breath in, drop your belly, look up. On a breath out, just press your chin to your chest. Hug your belly to your spine and your tailbone to your feet. Make the practice your personal own. Even if while you're on the mat, for quite a few minutes, sometimes you don't feel as connected to you. That's just how we arrive. Get your breath, kind of just plumbing into the body a little more and a little deeper. You'll feel connected again, for sure. Inhale, belly sinking, heart lifting, head lifting, gaze going up, tailbone sticking up. Empty the breath, rounding your back. Pull the belly in nice and tight. Tailbone, chin right into your body. Drop your belly. Take a long breath in. One more. Really arching your back. And then really dial it in. Belly to spine, chin to chest, tailbone toward feet. Get more of a stretch through the low back. towards your heels. And then come onto all fours. Close your eyes. And while your eyes are closed, hands stay shoulder width apart, knees hip width, feet hip width. Move yourself around. Take some big giant circles. Your hips going all the way to one side. Swing it around to the left. Maybe it would feel really good on this next round to press your buttocks toward the floor behind you. And it feels really good too to swing way over to the right and press your hips down as you lean into that right side. Belly to spine. Come on back up and maybe press your hips toward the left side and way down. Really good. Find your down facing dog. Down facing dog. Have your feet hip width apart. Bend your knees so much. It's your first down dog. Like, be easy with it and tilt your tailbone toward the ceiling. Let your head totally drop between your upper arms. Soften your gaze right to that space between your feet. On a long breath in, pull your heels up super high. And on a longer exhale, heels toward the floor. Bring your legs together. And with your legs together, send your right leg high. As you breathe out, bend your upper knee, roll it open. Let that whole right side feel like this delicious yawn for a Sunday afternoon yoga. And roll that hip down. Take your left leg super high in the air. Bend the upper knee. Roll open. Same action. So your hip is in alignment with your knee. If you can, pick your left knee up just a bit higher. At any point, you could always bring your right knee on the ground. But just peel open that left side. So if your knee just opens up, you get that light to your inner thigh, your groin. And just feel that open space, because it's probably not an area you get space. We open you up to places that you're like, oh, there's not a lot of light there. There's not a lot of blood flow there. There's not a lot of softening there. There's a lot more tension. And those contracted areas, they beg for some freedom. Range of motion, blood flow. Roll that hip down. Take your foot to the floor. Walk up your feet all the way front and center to the front edge of your mat. Take your breath in. Bring your hands to your knees and the fronts of your kneecaps. And with your knees super bent, press your tailbone back. Pull your chest and heart forward. Take a soft breath in. And then fold within on the out breath. Let your head get really, really heavy. Bend your knees so your chest is just right there, shelved on your thighs. Then just let your head keep getting heavier and heavier to the floor and slowly shake it side to side. Oftentimes there's a lot of, or can be, a bit of resistance. Maybe a lot, maybe a little, I don't know. Depends on you, your level of sensitivity. There can be a resistance toward moving into things bigger than we were. There can be a resistance towards opening an area up within our mind, within our heart, within our physical body, that we've adapted and tolerated it staying closed and, cut off, closed off. So I honor you tonight, today, whenever you're doing this practice. I honor you for letting your yoga practice be a safe space for you to come and open up to parts that you once preferred keeping closed off. I know you had valid reason. And here's to the new. With all the breath going out, bring yourself all the way to stand. And as you come up, keep that focus and that the lens of opening yourself up more, a little bit more every breath, every movement. Take your arms high. Interlace your fingers right over your head Now really bend your knees, press down through the floor with your feet, and feel the power of your lower body rooting into your mat. And feel the gentle and organic lift of the spine, your spine. And then feel all the breath come out as you take your arms stretched right to your sides, standing tall. Take a long breath in, pull your shoulders up under your ears. Dump them as you drop the shoulders down. Do it again. Take a long breath in, shoulders high. Now hold your breath. We live like this all the time. Our chest gets tight because we hold our physical breath. And we'll live from the neck up. And from that space, we'll always be more in a fearful space. Get rid of that. Dump your exhale and your shoulders will go right with that. Isn't that like much more relieving? Now take a long breath in, reach both arms high. Look up. Rather than looking down, look up. Empty all your air, bend the knees a lot, fold forward. Lift halfway up, breathe in. Empty the breath, fold forward again. And as you fold forward, you're being called to go inward. You go within, you start knowing what you need to stop going without. You start really letting it in. Come all the way back up to stand. As you reach your arms over your head, take a long breath in so your sides get some air, get some room, some space. Bring your hands right to your heart. Push your shoulders back. Close your eyes. Out loud or under your breath, 1 Om. Thumbs to your forehead center. Reach up, big breath in. Squeeze up all the muscle power of your legs. Fold forward so your whole upper body just melts towards your front thighs. Bend your knees as much as you need. Lift halfway up, long spine. Look to have a flat back. Send your hips back. Press the crown of your head like it's against the wall in front of you. And then this time, bend your knees so much, bring your hands shoulder width apart. Step back, high push up. In high push up, let's build on the foundation and let's refine it. Press your heels straight back to the floor behind, to the wall behind you. Squeeze up your thighs. Don't let them sag toward the ground. You got a lot of power there. Just rein it in. Squeeze up your belly so it can't collapse toward the floor. Your spine says, I need you to have my back. Core engaged teaches the spine, I've got your back. Now press right through the floor with strong arms. Peel your chin away from your chest so that your gaze be on one spot ahead of you. Take breath in here. Exhale, rock forward right on the balls of your feet. Bend your elbows straight back behind you, but keep them close to your body. Breathe all the air out, lower halfway. Right here, upward facing dog or half cobra. Engage the tops of the feet right into the floor. Press your palms down into the floor or the forearms and palms if it's half cobra. But taking in breath here. Cycle it through. As you exhale, that's when your cue is downward dog's looking for you. Like what you're looking for is out there looking for you. And what's out there looking for you, it knows you by your soul. Does that sound like too much yoga for you? That's really the bottom line, though. This is a practice that's super dynamic and physical, but it's a glorious way to get back into the sacred of you and back to what's important and back to within and say, what am I truly looking for? Because what that answer is in your heart, it's out there on the other side, calling your name, longing for your name too. Doesn't matter if it's a person, a profession, whoever, whatever, a place to live, a certain friend, a soulmate. Yoga reminds you I can connect again to what's calling to me. And then it can come closer to you. You'll recognize it. Please walk up, feet to your hands. Halfway lift, take a full breath in. Forward fold. All the exhale is going out, so you can go a little more closer to yourself, your physical body, and to yourself on a deeper level. That's all. Halfway lift, breathe in. Step back, high push up. Lower down. Scoop up, big breath in, up facing. Gentle but firm, pulling back, down facing dog. Breath's gotta go free. Move your head around a little bit, nice and slow, in a way that frees up your neck. Take in a breath. Clear it out. Rather than add more on, you pare down. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Every forward bend you take, it gets a little easier on your hamstrings. Keep the knees bent though, as much as you need, okay? Halfway lift. Step back, high push-up, go for it. Belly tight, thighs squeeze them. Lower down, empty out the breath. Pull the breath, plummet into your lungs. Up facing dog, you gotta move your shoulders a little bit back. Opening up your chest. I know that's vulnerable. You are a hero to be in touch with that kind of vulnerability in today's world though. And we need you. Down facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And a longing, wistful sigh out. Belly tight. Now bend your knees and bring your heels high. With all the air out, don't take another breath in. Fly, feet to your hands. Just go for it. Just jump like you're a little kid. You're 7 years old. You're jumping over a puddle. Lift halfway. Inhale. Interlace your hands at your low back. And as you fold forward, try to take your arms a little bit over your head. Or at least like right there above the middle back. Let your head drop though. Awesome. You've already done so much just in a short few minutes, like truly. Keep on going with that. We'll do a little more, okay? Don't look at the whole staircase. We'll just do a little bit at a time. Take your arms straight up in the air and bend your knees and then sit your butt way low as you can go. So pull your toes off the floor, push your heels to the ground, press your hips way back so that your knees are not past your toes. You're drawing your knees and shins back. Till your tailbone down just a little bit toward the floor and hug in your belly. Sink a little lower and muscle up those thighs. We'll muscle our way through this practice anyway, but put power into your legs and soften your jaw. Working smarter with the areas where you can get active and activate that strength, and then stay supple in other areas. So it's not all muscling through. There's a little bit of softening while building on strength. Sit lower. Sit back. Breathe out, forward fold. Halfway lift, full breath in. Empty it out, step back, high push up. Look ahead of you, so then you rock forward. Your whole body is like the hydraulics are all set up, pressing forward, all of it. Bend the elbows back, lower. Inhale, upward dog. Pull back, gentle but firm, downward dog. Feel the tops of your thighs, the fronts of your thighs press against your hamstrings. Feel your shins press against your calves. Heels toward the ground. Take in a breath. Rather than holding on tighter, just surrender it. Yeah, it's a lot better. It balances out our strength that we think we got to muscle everything through. Balances out brute force. Take a right foot, your right foot, step it forward. Find your warrior one. It's your first one. We'll build on it. Your front knee's right over your ankle. I'd press your front heel right into the ground. It'll power up that front thigh and be like, oh yeah, there I am. Where'd that superpower come from? And like the good witch said, you've always had it in you, my dear. Arms go right over your head. Stretch all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor. High push up, belly tight. Lower down, get all the air out. Elbows, hug them to your sides. Up dog, feel the tops of your feet pressing into the floor. Thighs can lift if you choose, but nothing to prove. Down facing. Step your left foot forward. Get your back foot completely flat. So if you take a peek at your back foot, the outer edge of your back foot is pressing like it's against the back edge of your mat or the back wall. Now, if you have to reposition that back foot so that your hips are a little more square to the front, do it. And that might look like, oh, I just move something like a little, or I move it a lot. Either way, make it work for you. Reach your arms up. While your arms are up, spread every finger, spread both palms. Squeeze your back leg like crazy and take a look at your left knee, nudge it to your baby toe side of your foot. Press through that front heel, take a little breath, reach up, look up, pull your chin up, see your spot on the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor, high plank, low plank, up facing, and downward facing. Hips go super high, head goes way low. Pick your heels up nice and high as you breathe in. Rock your hips to the right. Pick your heels up nice and high as you breathe in again. On the out breath, rock your hips to the left. Back to center. Walk, feet to your hands. Flat back, breathe in. Forward fold. Bend your knees, sink your hips, reach those arms high. Exhale, hands to your heart, bow, chest right into your thighs. Halfway lift, long breath in. High plank. Lower down. In up dog, breathe in. To get to down dog, start breathing out right in up dog. Next step, warrior one, right foot, back foot flat. Inhale, arms reach. Interlace your fingers right over your head. Press straight up, bend your front knee a little more. Squeeze your back leg a little more. Exhale, warrior two. Your arms are alongside both legs. Your gaze is on your right middle finger. The outer edge of your back foot, I already told you, it's pressing like it's against a door or a wall. And then your triceps, squeeze them up. Press your right knee open. Take your left hand, cartwheel right back to the floor. High push up. Lower down, breathe out. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Move into warrior one, left leg, big old step. Back foot, flatten it. Come on up. Interlace your fingers right over your head. Push like you're pushing the ceiling. Like a part of your mind has had like a lower ceiling. Push it up. Exhale, warrior two. Now while you're doing all this pushing to go up, the secret sauce is get rooted in your feet. Notice you can afford to go into new spaces, take bigger chances, bigger risks, speak out more with more expression when you feel well rooted in your body, when you trust yourself. Warrior two. Can you be in your warrior 2 right now and feel like this is enough? I'm just going to breathe, and I'm going to feel my feet, and I'm going to practice rooting into trusting myself and feeling more secure within myself so I can have more freedom of courage. So I can be in touch with what's guiding me inside. Cartwheel your right hand to the floor. Beautiful high push-up. Exhale all the air. Get it out. All of it. No trace left. Upward dog. Breathe in. Downward dog. Breathe out. Take your knees to the floor for a second. Child's pose. Let yourself just connect to breathing without physical dynamic movement. Start with an exhale if you're trying to catch your breath, by the way. I personally am learning for a lot of years of this practice, practicing on my own mat, teaching it. I really focused on offering a strengthening practice. And my life is taking me and turning me into a different pathway of allowing myself more vulnerability as a strength too. At any point that you feel a little vulnerable, that you need to take a break, that you need to just not be in dynamic action, but to just be, come to child's pose. It might feel vulnerable, especially with, thinking you should be in strength mode, in beast mode, in action mode only. But I tell you, it'll balance it out so you have the right amount of intensity, the right amount of effort. Being humble, being vulnerable, those are beautiful assets of you as much as you in muscle power. Breathe in. Clear it. When we exhale like that and we soften some of the physical tension, it's a little bit easier to step into that softer space. We'll just practice that. There are times to be in that beast mode, and there are times to be in a being mode. And yoga will help keep the lights on as to what we need, what the mood is, what the energetic emotional current is within us. And also how to, combine the two in a beautiful way. When you're ready, down facing dog, please. And then just with your next breath out, you can hop or you can walk, feet to your hands. Bend your knees, arms reach. Sink your hips a little lower. This is beast mode, right? But keep your breath fluid and supple. That's the humble. Forward fold. Your chest right into your thighs. Head drops. Go ahead, bend your knees again. Sit your hips lower. Practice beast mode. But beast mode without fire breathing dragon kind of breath. Just beast mode of lower body power. And practice this unwavering, rooted strength. Eyes are focused on one spot, eye level ahead of you. Keep your jaw relaxed and breathe nice and easy in and out. Don't rush that breath. That's plugging into a physical strength, but moving into your center as a result. It's a different kind of beast mode. It's a lot more disarming, yet there's a lot of power to it. Fold forward. Halfway up. Move back, high push-up. Empty out lower. Fill your lungs upward. Free your lungs downward. Please step your right foot, big step forward. This time keep your back heel lifted, so you're on the ball of your left foot. Bend your left knee. Tilt your tailbone down. Take your arms high. Take a breath in, stretch up. Take your breath out, hands to your heart. You go right into a twist. Left elbow outside your right leg or your right knee. You could always bring your back knee to the floor. You might need more strength in this pose to keep your back leg up, squeeze it up, fire up the muscle. Or you might say, I always do that. Today I need something a little easier. Your call. Now take your arms wide apart, spreading your upper hand, fingers, spread them. Now every time you breathe out, let your upper body roll open more. So it's like, wow, the breath out guides your upper body, your chest, your heart, your lungs to be freer. But the more you breathe out, the more there's an organic softening and also leaving you the right amount of energy. Now bring yourself back to Warrior Two for a moment. And then reverse your warrior. So your right arm goes straight up and you look at your right arm, your right forearm, your right palm. Bring your hand right to your heart. Press your right knee open. Stay strong in your lower body though. Feet into the ground, root them. Eyes ahead of you, one spot, eye level. Take in a breath. With a little bit of the weight off your shoulders and a little bit of freedom in the front chest. Feel how good you are. And your world needs you. Extended side angle. Take your right forearm to your front thigh. Take your left arm right over your head. Press your feet through the floor. Take your upper arm, wrap it around your back. Roll that upper lung and shoulder backwards. Just breathe out though, really. And take your attention to your upper shoulder and feel it just roll back on the breath out. You roll the breath out like you're unrolling a yoga mat. And you'll realize, wow, there's not only freedom of tension, but breathing room that maybe you didn't have before you got on the mat. Hands to the ground, please. Plant your palms nice and firm, shoulder width. High push-up, full inhale. Bigger exhale, lower. Scoop your chest up, facing dog. Pull your hips high, down facing. Take your left foot, big old step. Leave your back heel lifted. Come on to the ball of your back foot. Press the left knee open. Squeeze up your back thigh. Take your arms high. Take a breath out, bend a little back. It's almost as if your thighs, both thighs, are scissoring toward each other, like they're pressing into a center line. And you'll realize, wow, that gave me more physical stability. So I didn't fall over. I had to get active in my legs. Go back. Bring your hands to the heart, your heart, and twist. Right elbow, right outside your left thigh or knee. The tendency is for that knee to collapse in. Press it open. Any instruction I give you, modify it so it feels good in your body. I'm not asking you to take yourself to a place that is going to hurt. I'm asking you to consider going into a space that didn't have that kind of opening and just work your way in, even if it's a little bit. That's tremendous. And it's relieving to the mind, to the heart. Warrior Two. In Warrior Two, very much dynamic. Squeeze up your back leg. Squeeze your back arm. Lengthen that arm, fingertips, let them get longer. Feel your left arm, pull it away from you. And then reverse your warrior, going back. Now while you go back, still press your front knee open and forward a bit. While you're going back and you breathe out, you let the exhale Take your upper body and your upper arm behind you a little more. Now take your left arm to your front leg. Right arm right over your head. So just think, can I stretch my right arm to the front of the room away from my back foot? And if your left butt cheek is sticking way out like a speed bump, you want to just peel that left buttock in toward the middle of your mat. So your hip and your knee are in alignment. And the knee is right over the ankle. And then take your upper arm, wrap it around your back. Every breath you give out, your upper shoulder, upper lung get to loosen up. Some of the wall comes down. The walls we build only because we got, kind of hurt, kind of sucked. And that's valid. It's just that a lot of those walls need to come down, so there's somebody wonderful that's going to say, I see those rough hurt spots. I see those sore spots. And I want to bring some ease to them. A new emotional reassurance. And there's a healing that happens. I wouldn't want you to miss out on that. Wherever that's showing up for you, don't miss out on it because of the old, okay? And go ahead. Release. Bring your hands straight to the floor. And just while you're here, hands to the floor, high push-up, belly in, rock forward, lower down, upward dog, down facing. Go ahead and bring your hands and knees to the floor, shoulder width and hip width apart. And then real simple, take some more cat-cow. On the inhale, your chest and tailbone stretch away from each other. On the out breath, chin to chest, belly to spine, tailbone toward feet. Now, if you push through your arms, and the arms are right under your shoulder joints, you're going to get more leverage of the upper body pressing to the ceiling. And then in one more, inhale, look up. Empty it out, round. You feel how you are a little looser, hopefully. Let's do a little core work since you're right there. I know, I kind of snuck it in your food. So let's do it, okay? All I'd like you to do is come onto your elbows with one hand around your elbow, so left hand around the right elbow, right hand around the left. And then I'd like you to take your hands out in front of you and interlace your fingers. And then I'd like you to come into plank legs, like plank pose legs. And just rock your body weight a little more forward. Hug in that belly right now. Squeeze up those thighs right now. And if you can, start moving your nose over your hands. Take in a breath. 5, belly tight. 4, stay with me. I'm with you. 3, 2, 1. If you can do 5 more, do it. If you need to come and take child's pose or down dog, do that. 5, breathe in. 4, empty out. 3, 2, 1. Down facing dog, unless you're already there. We're building on strength. Every time we practice refining our strength. We all have a certain amount of it when we arrive. But man, even just a few minutes of doing a little core work is gonna help out your back. Can you do 5 more seconds with me? Try it out. Or just try for like a full plank and hold that. 5, 4, 3. If you can, take your right foot, toes pointing to the floor, like an inch or so above ground. Bring that foot to the ground. Last one, take the left side, lift up the foot a little bit, toes flexing to the floor. Bring that foot to the floor completely, child's pose. Great. Bring yourself onto your hands and knees. Take your right foot, lunge it forward, curl your back toes under, step your left foot up to meet your right. You're standing at the front edge of your mat. Take a breath in, reach up. Empty it out. Wrap up, eagle pose. Right arm's coming under the left. Bend your knees. Feel that tailbone tilt toward the floor. Your butt's not going to stick out. It'll really hurt the low back. Tilt your tailbone gently toward the floor, toward the earth. Squeeze your top thigh on your bottom thigh. Look for your hips, your belly button to stay square to the front of the room. So like your hips are centered to the front of the room, your belly button's right there in the middle. Typically we take the right leg over and our hips go to the left. Bring your hands right to your heart in prayer. Then just do this. Take your right leg up. Right foot's in the air, knee is bent. Take your arms straight up high. Your left leg, squeeze it up. Kick straight back with that right leg. Toes point to the floor. Right hip rolling down. Arms reach back. If you can, squeeze your arms alongside your body. Lengthen through that right leg a little more. Bring your right foot up and bring it into tree pose. Hands to the heart. Eyes are eye level. Your left leg is firm. And the sole of your right foot presses into the inside of your left thigh. And there's a mutual, it's not all one. It's both sides of the body. There's a symmetry to the right and the left working together in a true partnership. And then if you keep incorporating and feeding breath to the physical movements, that's the ultimate union. Bring that foot to the floor. Sweep up. Eagle. Left arm's going to come under the right. Left thigh squeezes on top of the right. Belly button stays square. Eyes don't look down. They look straight across from you, eye level. Shoulders are back. Let your breathing anchor, deeply quiet and soothe your mind. Bring your hands to your heart. Take your left foot up. Take both arms high. Kick your left leg back. And your both arms behind you at your sides. The tendency will be the left leg rolls up. Roll the left hip to meet the right hip. Push out through that strong upper leg and foot. Feel your arms squeeze to your side, your shoulder blades hug into each other. Now bend your left knee, bring it back up in front of you. If you can, take your foot into your inner thigh. And by the way, what if you're like, yeah, I can't do that? Then you don't quit. You find what you can do instead. You bring that foot down. Maybe to your inner right ankle or your inner shin. Your gaze eye level, shoulders back. Power in your lower body means you can soften your eyes and your jaw. Some parts of you need to be intense and the others don't. And that's a practice in itself, you know, if you've been muscling your way through. Where you can drop some of the effort, you'll gain more. You'll gain more natural you. The excess is usually, you know, fear. We grip tighter. Fear. Or needing to prove ourselves. We're just needing to make ourselves so stoic. Telling ourselves, I don't need anybody, I'm straight. Just so we didn't have to risk our heart getting broken again. The practice, I just want it to help you move a little more bravely off your mat into your world. Bring your foot to the floor. Sweep up. Bend your knees. Heart to your thighs. Halfway lift. Step back. High plank. Lower down. Upward facing. Downward facing. Right foot, big step, warrior one. Big exhale, warrior two. Triangle, right leg straighten, send your right hip back. Take your right hand to your front leg. Keeping your self-aware that you want your bottom lung to stay lifted instead of collapsing into that bottom shoulder or, what do I want to say? Hyperflexing that right leg. Keep a little bend in the knee. How about that? Left arm high. Breathe in. Empty it out. Belly tight. Bring your right hand to your belly. Let yourself be lifted up. Right foot faces that left wall. Both toes face the left. Both feet face the left wall. Press through the outer edges of your feet. Get rooted in the feet and firm up the legs. Hands to the low back. Press your hips forward. Press your chest up. Fold. Breathe in. Empty. Breathe in. Let go. Bring yourself up. Walk your hands over to your right foot. Soften your left knee to the ground. Right leg straight out in front of you. Pull the toes back. And you just sort of sit your hips back. You could sit back toward that left heel if you want. And the more you lean forward, you exhale. Support your hamstring by squeezing up your quad. And go ahead. And take pigeon for a sec. We don't typically do this, I know. But we're just here, so why not? You're not here for long anyway. You just bring your right hip down on the ground. Your left leg straight back behind you. Your right foot is flexed. And then you just tuck your chin down into your chest. That whole right hip and buttock sinks to the floor. You're really tight in that right hip, which most of us are. Like, who are we kidding? Just bring your right heel towards your left side, towards your left groin. Nothing to prove, just a simple movement to open some stuff up. Every breath you hand over softens where it's really stiff and rigid. And it brings it new energy, not just new blood flow. It brings a new softening to us emotionally when we soften the physicality where it's hard. Go ahead, come on up. Great work. Please press back, down facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Warrior one. Warrior two. Left leg's gonna straighten, but keep just a tiny bend in that left knee. Press your left hip back towards your back heel. Right arm high. Left arm catching the leg. Roll open, roll back. Anchor down through your right big toe. Don't let your bottom shoulder be hiked under your bottom ear. Press it back. Press it down. Bring your hand to your belly. Let yourself pull right up. Both feet face the right side of the room. Root through the feet. Feel the inner ankles lift up. Feel the inner thighs press to the outer thighs. Tailbone dropping. Interlace your hands at your low back. Press your arms away. Big exhale. Very conscious to all the sound clearing out of you. Fold forward. Take a spot with your eyes on one spot behind you. Very, very often, we get locked into patterns and we repeat them. And there's no room, there's no space, there's no air for a fresher response. Especially if it's an area of life where we've been really highly emotionally charged, therefore tense, deeply tense, or traumatized. Can you soften an area that you see has just been deeply tense under the gun, keeping you from seeing a new way of being, keeping you from seeing where somebody shows up and they're not the enemy. They recognize you need a new response. And they're not judging you. And they're not shaming. They understand. And they're compassionate. And their compassion might be lent to you to soften to yourself a little more. Take a long breath out. Bring your hands to the front edge of your mat. So then your left foot faces forward. And all you're going to do is you're just going to come onto your right knee. Pat it up with the side edge of your mat if you need to. Straighten that left leg out in front of you. Sit your hips back, 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 back. They have a beautiful way of pointing out to you something. And let this practice be a lamplight towards softening and being open to hearing them, rather than the usual automatic, instinctive need to defend and self-protect. Bring yourself on up. Walk your left foot all the way over to your, where your right wrist would normally be in high plank. Pigeon. Left leg coming down. And you're in a place with a great person who doesn't make you feel small, who understands what it is to show up a little more courageous with a new response. And they're proud of your growth. Because let's face it, you even trying to do that, you're so much further ahead than the ones not only who aren't trying, as Tony Robbins said, but I would add to it, who aren't even aware there's an issue. You looking inward and saying, how can I be better? How can I grow? Being vulnerable enough. That's a hero to me. Like I said, you had valid reasons to be uptight. Bring your legs straight out in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. Pull your toes back a little bit. Arms up. And as you breathe out, you'll fold forward. I share these things, I give you these nuggets because I love to support your transformation. And I'm really becoming awake and humbled and relieved to have a person in my life being a stand and supportive to mine. Just breathe in and breathe out. And all that makes me do is only want that for you. Not just from your teacher, though, but from a real, extraordinary, ordinary person close to you. Bring yourself up and all the way out onto your back. Please stretch your arms over your head and point your toes away. On the next breath out, hug your knees to your chest. Rock side to side. Dead bug. Well, before dead bug, take your knees all the way to the right, chin to the left. Feet are on the ground, legs are on the ground. Every breath out, upper body spins away from the hips more. Bring your knees back up. Knees rock to the left, chin to the right. Bring your knees back to center. Take your knees together and bring your feet super wide apart on the floor. Bring your hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Eyes closed. So in the space of not teaching, an uncle of mine passed away. And when we were kids, he was the one who spent time with us whenever he had the time. And as a result, I called him my favorite uncle because I felt connected to him. Which wasn't to say my other uncles weren't favorites too. I just didn't see them as much, or they were very busy. It wasn't personal. Saying someone's your favorite doesn't make others that you love less than. It's just there was a special bond. And he just passed away. He just passed away a few days ago. And, you know, what stands out to me about him, although he was a leader in many ways, he was a policeman for a long, long time in the town I lived in growing up, and then he became a detective, and he loved his work, and he loved helping people. He loved to protect and serve. And he never misused that power. I never once saw him misuse power. And then later he became a leader doing work with bioterrorism, which I wasn't even aware. That's so cool. And he was very tall, and he was very quiet spoken. He reminds me of my oldest son that way, a gentle giant. He did things as a man that had more masculinity to me because they weren't with brute force. He acted with a force of integrity that he was wired for in and out. He wasn't volatile. He wasn't mean. His power was seen by the right people. Everyone that knew him knew there was something pretty awesome about him. His presence wasn't boastful. In fact, he was so humble. He was modest. You tried to give him a compliment, his cheeks would get red, and he'd say, "Oh, come on. Don't worry about it." I guess that's why I dedicated this practice to something other than brute force. There's a lot of strength and humility from somebody who's not trying to take center stage and has a power all of their own as a result. It's really something how a person passes away and you hadn't seen them for a while, but the core of who they are was real and there in the fabric of your life, in your family tree, even if you hadn't spoken for a bit or longer. And I guess I'd like to see more of that in humanity. A strong and subtle and supple version of strength. Times to be in beast mode are the times we're here to protect and serve. But we're not here to be in beast mode 24/7. We're not here to just pay the electric bill. We're here to stay connected to our heart and carry up the most hearts around us. Bring your knees into your chest, rock side to side. Take in a long breath. Dump it out. Some of the stuff you're holding on to, I'm holding on to, it's keeping you blocked from your own heart, feeling your own goodness. And the hearts of others. Come all the way on up to your seat on your mat. Bring your hands to your heart. While we've pared down so you can get back to what's good and what's real, and what's pure. The love in your heart loves the hearts of another, loves others. Feel more of that. Do more with that. Be bold with your heart. Tell people while they are alive what they mean to you, what good they're bringing into the world. I don't care if it's your uncle or your child. Remind yourself too, okay? A friend, your person, and your people, your colleagues. Wherever you can, lift up the hearts of others. Bowing forward. For the ways you lift your heart, to give a heart and a hand to another. And for those who do that for you, we say namaste. See you again. Thank you so much. Namaste.